Ah, League of Legends, what a beautiful sight, truly a grand creation, and outright gorgeous. Jesus Christ, what happened to you? What happened? I don't want to talk about it, I want to talk about it. Yo, call an ambulance.
There you go, sir.
Penalties.
Don't you worry, sir. You just hang on tight.
Beautifully controlled. Oh, wait a minute. Here he comes.
Patient to hospital.
What happened to this patient? Nurse, give me the x-ray. How is this even possible? This patient has cancer all over their body. I've never seen anything quite like this. Can he be saved, doctor? Let me die! Leave the room. Doctor, you can't. I said leave the room. I'm still a good game. Play me. I'm sorry. You were once beautiful. I still am. I've played this game for almost 10 years and have dedicated over 30,000 hours, but if you still think I'm not qualified to review this game, I've been reported over 1,000 times. Let me explain the basics for those who don't know the game. League has one map, and yes, that means I've spent over 30,000 hours on this one map. Do you understand now why I'm medicated? Each team consists of 5 champions. Your goal is to take down the turrets until you can destroy the enemy base. At the start, people will stay in their lane, attempt to farm gold and their laner. Then they come together to play for objectives. Finally, one team will lose. Obviously that was a complete lie, just complete idealistic poison, and the reality is, the team playing the champions are 2-digit IQ hairless apes with limited social skills and an incurable mental illness. Many people are playing champions for the first time, or a champion they have a 30% win rate with in 50 games. During the laning phase, one person on your team is likely to transform into a charity and start feeding their opposing laner as if he was a starving kid in Africa. Then you come together, where the team will refuse to play together, not consciously, they're just bad. And eventually one team will win because someone got caught or someone thought it was better to farm bot lane and give the enemy team Baron buff. Or someone will be so bad with their champion, the loss was actually decided in Champion Select. This is League of Legends for you, yet people like me still play this game because our self-hatred is just that extreme. And with the UK now wanting to remove this type of material, I imagine League will be banned. So, let's go over this trash pile of a game, starting with the 200 champions. Each year, or season, new champions are released. And what's the difference between a Season 1 champion and a Season 10, I hear you ask? Season 1, he slams his sword, gains resistance, spins around, and shoots a sword from the sky. Season 10, he has a grappling hook, invisibility, a passive that revives dead teammates. I think you get the idea. Hence the saying, you just got Season 12, and what a nice seasoned champion. Oh, and if a skin is on release or they've just released an anime, the balancing team will simply slide a needle into the champion until they're juiced to the gills. With the rise of pro play, many of your favourite champions are balanced for those 10 players and not the entire community of millions that play the game. In short, out of 200 champions, only 20 are pick worthy. If a champion's win rate isn't over 52%, it's just not worth playing. And if you pick anything below 50% win rate, you are troll picking. If you play this game, you'll realize Riot, wanting to reach diversity quotas, hired people from the Special Needs Center and put them all into the balancing team. Many of you might have played this game in 2015, where you had fun content creators such as CivHD, Spazzy, Dunkey and more. They promoted playing the game for fun, having a good time with friends, and they brought new people into the game. They're all gone, and all people watch are pro players who are incredibly dull individuals. But when your dopamine hits the rock bottom, I guess this isn't hard to watch. They just promote playing alone, playing competitively, and smurfing. I'm a climbed challenger from bronze for the 100th time! Now you have no people joining the community, and it's even more competitive. To give you an idea, I play with a friend. Now this is crazy to a League of Legends player. In a few games, we unlocked an emblem showing we're in the 0.4%. As friends who used to play for fun now refuse to play together if that friend just isn't playing well enough. To really give an analogy on League, most people are yellow belts but they assume they're black belts and they fight as if their life is on the line, and losing will result in a childish tantrum. And ignore the statistics of League of Legends having new players. Anyone who thinks that is like an actual thing should be cast away from society, denied an education for a complete lack of promise. Smurfing is now a norm, and each game will consist of 2 to 3 Smurfs. And if you're a new player, it's 9. Just imagine you join a boxing gym as a beginner, and in a beginner class you have pro athletes that will come in, beat you senseless and call you trash. Then you go to county level at boxing, but your opponent is lying about his resume, and is actually a national level champion. You get smashed and called trash again. Would you really keep going to that boxing gym, or would you play another sport? At level 30, you unlocked ranked mode, effectively competitive mode. As I mentioned earlier, each game is effectively a coin flip of how many animals are on your team, how many Smurfs are on your team, and how many people are auto-filled. Oh, wait, sorry. Did you think you have a influence on these games? Oh my boy, you silly boy. Of course you don't. So with your lack of influence on the game, you might be thinking, well, if I play well, will League not punish me as much if I lose? No. Like North Korea or any corrupt institute such as school, League goes by the philosophy of collective punishment. So, when you play well but your team doesn't, even if that teammate is running it down going 0-10-2 and you're going 10-5-10, you will be punished just as much as him. And at this point, you might be starting to understand why people are toxic. It's more the system rather than the people. You might even think, surely Riot will try to reduce Smurfs, make climbing easier, help promote fun content, balance champions better, blah blah blah. Not at all. Instead, they control the Reddit where they silence any criticism and silence you in the game. In short, like China or Russia, they just silence their opposition. Some might say I'm painting Riot as a fascist company, but I'm just narrating what they do. If you're finding these similarities like I am, it's not my fault. Riot just takes the communist stance of human rights. What are those? Now the chat's become a Club Penguin chat system. You can't even talk after the game. You get a warning for saying a word without any context. For example, if you use the word kill, oh, trigger warning! So, what you actually say is more punished than what you do. And now, instead of venting your frustration in the chat because you want to tell the 0-10 person on your team who's intentionally losing and trolling the game, he's a retard, cancer-born degenerate who should have been left on Epstein's Island as a child, that could get you banned for jokes and words, while he can keep playing on and wasting hours and hours of people's lives. Because now, instead of flaming, people just soft-int or intentionally lose your games. They'll steal your buffs, your farm, get caught randomly. Overall, playing in a way to promote the enemy team's chances and reduce your chances of winning. Toxicity on League has been an interesting development. It's become more sophisticated and somehow worse. Now, imagine this. You go to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym and you work your way to brown belt, and then you're told at the end of the year, sorry, you have to go back to being a white belt again. Because that's how it works apparently with League of Legends. Every year they're gonna throw you down a couple divisions where you have to spend God knows how many games getting back up there. The worst part about this video is I've only scratched the top of the iceberg of the problems this game has. It has so many problems just within the coding. And if you go back maybe 10 years ago and you go look at Donkey's video and some other people's videos, you'll see the problems are still the same. They've just evolved and they've changed and they've added more problems to the mix. What's cringe about me is I think the biggest problem I had with League was way more personal than it was about the game. A little bit about the game, to be honest. But usually I'll have this big goal that I'm chasing. Right now it's YouTube. Just make great videos and grow the channel. But before that it was get diamond on League of Legends, and I would put all my time into it. So all these little goals you have to maintain, go gym, hang out with friends, go do this, go do that, I push them aside because I'm like, that's a time sink. Going gym, that's 2 hours. Cooking a good meal, that's an hour. And that's like 3 hours I could spend editing a video, or 3 hours I could spend doing like 5 to 6 games of League of Legends. So I put all that time into this one goal. And that's the biggest problem I had with League. I would let all these little things just fly to the side as I put all my time in League. Anyway, GG. If you would like and subscribe, that would mean a lot. Obviously, if I do well on YouTube, I can go back to the gym. And you won't have to look at my fat fucking putrid face. Look at that shit. Soon, I'm not even gonna have a jaw. If anything, this neck beard is giving the illusion of a fucking shadow, but it won't be long before I turn into a slug.